In this video, we're going to be talking about sponsors exemptions, specifically on the web.com tour, and how it affects those who are trying to make a living playing golf. Let's go putts around.
Hit the ball!
That lacks a little integrity, I think. Hey guys, David Folk here. On this channel, we do golf club reviews, golf gear reviews, geek speak videos, and instructional videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So this week, the web.com tour was in Colombia playing at the Club Colombia Championship. The sponsors of this tournament are allowed to give X number of exemptions for amateurs, for other golfers that they want to have in the tournament itself who may not have qualified for it, but they want them to draw attraction from the local community or whatever else kind of ideas they have to provide sponsors exemptions. They have the right to choose whoever they choose. And this sponsor chose an ex-boxer named Julio Bell, 52, amateur, and has not been golfing for that long. He goes out and shoots a 93 and a 105. Now on a par 71 course, that's 56 shots over par. Before we get into exemptions and how players reacted to this, I want to put this into perspective. This is an actual golf tournament. And for those of you who have not played in golf tournament conditions, on professional golf tournament conditions, it's not like going out to your local club or local golf course and playing there. We're talking about faster greens, longer rough, fairways are narrower, tee boxes are moved. I mean, it's tough out there playing on the golf course, plus all the pressure of playing in a tournament and having to count every stroke. Most of us at some point fail to count one stroke here or one stroke there, or don't know the rules and think we're counting all the strokes, but we aren't counting all the strokes. So this guy catches a lot of flack from specifically tour players about stealing a spot that could have been theirs, that they could have tried to play and be part of and win this tournament, but instead the sponsors give this no-name amateur who shot 56 over a spot. Not only that, but Julio Bell was disqualified from the tournament for failing to turn in a scorecard. And I'm sorry, but if you're playing in a golf tournament, a web.com professional tournament, and you shoot 56 over, I feel like you just should own it, right? You should turn in your scorecard, you should sign it, you should just accept the fact that you shot 56 over in 2 days, and you got to play in a web.com tour event, which I think it'd be cool for all of us to play in a web.com tour event. I certainly would love to, and I think a lot of us would probably struggle in this situation playing in a professional golf tournament because the conditions are so difficult, and I feel like the pressure and everything, and you're playing with people who do this for a living, I think the pressure would be immense, making it really difficult to really perform well for a first professional tournament. Now, what I want to explain to you guys is how the web.com tour works to make sure that it promotes and encourages people to perform their best throughout the entire season. Now, what they do is what's called reshuffling, and web.com tour reshuffles every 4 tournaments. So based on the money list and how well you're playing, you get put into a specific tier for the web.com tour. If you finish in the top 75 the prior year, or if you're in 26 through 50 in the web.com tour finals, you are fully exempt for the year. You get to play in any and every tournament you wish to play in for the entire next season. Next, if you finished 2nd to 10th in the Q school, you are fully exempt through 3 shuffles of it. So that basically means you get 12 tournaments to make as much money as possible to be exempt from the reshuffles as they go on. If you finish 11th through 45th in Q school, you are exempt through 2 shuffles of it. So that means you get 8 tournaments to play in to be able to try to earn enough money to be exempt and make sure you don't get reshuffled throughout the rest of the season. Everyone else who finished 126th through 150th on the PGA Tour, as well as those who made it through Q School, are subject to the first reshuffle and possibly every reshuffle after that. also have, again, what's called sponsors exemptions. And sponsors can exempt you, can take you and put you in a tournament because of whatever reason they choose so that you can play in that tournament. That's a sponsors exemption, which a lot of players were upset that the sponsors chose this amateur who shot 56 over versus the next alternate. In this case happened to be Ken Looper, who's a Twitter fanatic and is quite big on social media. So really there are two ways to consider this. The sponsor can really do whatever it wants. It's sponsoring the tournament. They get X number of sponsors exemptions. They get to choose who they want to choose to put into the tournament. That's their right. That's their prerogative for sponsoring the golf tournament and putting up the money for players to play. If you look at that side, the players who didn't get into the tournament and who are mad because the sponsors put this amateur in there shouldn't be mad. They know how the tournament works. They know that the sponsors get X, Y, and Z. And he's a local Colombian who played. Maybe they thought it'd be great to draw a bigger crowd to be able to continue to raise money for their charity, or potentially have the opportunity to make some money with ticket sales and whatnot. If you're from a sponsor's perspective, having them be mad isn't necessarily going to benefit anybody and might actually make the sponsor mad at you. So if you wanting a sponsor's exemption later on, they might not even give it to you because of how you reacted to the people they chose previously. From a player's perspective, one who's trying to make money and trying to make a living on playing golf, I completely understand the frustration that you put somebody in the tournament who does not belong there, who throws off the rhythm of the entire group they're playing with because every other person is shooting, let's say, par or below par. He's shooting 22 and 34 over par. You're basically knocking off the rhythm of everybody else because you're not playing at the caliber everybody else is playing. When you're playing with friends and you're playing in a foursome on a local muni and in the weekend, that doesn't matter as much. But when you're playing for real stakes, real money, exemptions, and after this tournament there was going to be a reshuffle, the stakes are much higher, right? It matters more to those people who weren't able to get into the tournament due to this gentleman's sponsors exemption. I can understand the frustration that you have there and the anxiety that you feel. And then I have to consider how Julio Bell also took his game and his rounds into perspective. The fact that he didn't sign his card the second day, like, that shows me that he doesn't necessarily care how he did or care how the tournament went, or really doesn't have any empathy for those not playing. You basically just DQ'd yourself because you're not going to be there anywhere. Like, that lacks a little integrity, I think. So looking at those two, I can see both perspectives. Sponsors get to choose what they want. I also understand the tour players' frustration here. I get both of those. They make sense. I look forward to hearing what you guys think down below in the comments. Which side do you agree with? Do you kind of agree with both? Do you check one side over the other? What do you think about Julio Bell's response and how he chose to be disqualified after the second day? I look forward to hearing all your comments down below. While you're down there, guys, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up because YouTube likes that. Thanks for watching, and we'll chat with you next time.